Hey, Taurus. Thanks for stopping by. I am Madeleine, if we haven't met before, and I am very excited to see what is in your cards this month. But before we talk about your cards, we're going to talk about your stars. So, we just had a lunar eclipse in the sign of Capricorn on July 5th. And a lunar eclipse is like a full moon on steroids. Full moons are culminations. The same way the moon fills up with light, we fill up with energy and emotion. The moon rules our feelings, our intuitions, etc. So the house that the moon goes full in for us has to do with where we're having revelations. And specifically, a lunar eclipse implies kind of a time to go, like time to go. And it makes sense because yours, in particular, Taurus, is happening in your 9th house, the house of journeys, philosophy, big ideas, religion. It's also the house of publishing and broadcasting, wide, like long range travel, big ideas, anything that broadens the horizons, which is why this house rules everything from higher education to long distance travel. Because once you see something, once you understand something, you sort of can't unsee it, right? We can't reduce our perspective once it has been widened. So some of you may be experiencing a bit of a point of no return. And I don't feel negativity around that, although I will say that the weirdest thing happened while I was doing the pre-shuffle and meditating on your energy before we got started. Spirit just came in, and I hadn't thought of this in forever. How many of you, let me know in the comments, how many of you are familiar with Peter and the Wolf? Because Spirit was just like playing the theme in my head, and I was just sitting here shuffling cards and whistling the theme to Peter and the Wolf. And if you're not familiar with Peter and the Wolf, again, I hadn't thought of this in ages, so even I am like, what? Like, I'm gonna have to like Google or wiki this afterward to get all the nuance. But Peter and the Wolf is about a young hunter who, with his friends, is going about, you know, getting rid of, wow, they just had me pull a card. I'll be interested to see what that is. A negative influence. And I will say that when I was whistling, we're going to find out your cards in just a second, and I'll put them up so you can see. That the devil card did jump out while I was whistling that song to myself. And I was like, so what kind of wolf? That's the other channeled message here, besides your lunar eclipse and the fact that it's taking place in sort of the house of taking a leap of faith. The house of the big jump. The house of the big idea and revelation. Who might be a wolf? Who might be quietly stalking you or your ideas from the bushes? I don't want to make you paranoid. I want to make you aware. You know, Peter and the Wolf is a kid story, so it's not like the most gruesome thing. Okay? All right, let's get into it, Taurus. Let's get into it. Got that lunar eclipse in the house of journeys and philosophy. Big ideas, big changes, perhaps a push to go on a new adventure. What does Taurus need to know, Spirit, in July for their highest good? Taurus Sun, Taurus Moon, Taurus Rising, loved ones, guides, angels, those who guard and guide and protect Taurus. What do they need to know for their highest good? The month of July, Spirit. Wow. They just threw out your last 2 cards, so they are ready. Got some bonus cards in here too, Taurus. They got things to say. Taurus Sun, Taurus Moon, Taurus Rising in the month of July. This jumped out for you too. I had just forgot until she jumped out. Love it. Beautiful way to start, Taurus. I'll stop talking and I'll put those up in just a second. Love it. Wow. Wow. Woo! There's your card, Taurus. Got the Hierophant crowning your reading. Oh yeah, something new is definitely brewing up. Wow. Taurus. A pretty gorgeous reading. Wow. New adventure. This is what's going on within you. We're going to jump there first because that is where Spirit is having me go. A lot of you, and this is where I'll say Taurus, of course, you know, these are general readings. So this goes for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Taurus dominant people. Anybody who's tuning in here for a message, my understanding from Spirit is if you're here, then the message is for you. But I want you to follow your own intuition and the through line through your own life. So what's going on within is the Three of Wands. You have already begun. Look at what's in your past. Two of Wands. Considering it, thinking about it, and specifically thinking about, this makes God, I never get over how much Spirit, just the clarity. It's like they were saying, there's been a pondering and a buildup of energy. Remember, this again is in your past of, I've got this one wand firmly planted behind me. You notice her posture. It's in the ground. It's done. It's good. You've developed, you know, this relationship or this job or this skill set that you've had your eye. Like, okay, well, now I'm done with, you know, Boston or whatever, and I'm ready to move. Or I'm done with this position or this arena of job and I'm ready to go. The Three of Wands going on inside of you says you are on the verge. You are on the verge of making this move. And again, general reading. So some of you may have already taken those first initial steps, or even just the kind of like R&D, like research and development type of steps of like, well, if I did want to do that, what would that look like? Because, you know, House of Leap of Faith aside, you are still a Taurus. You still like having a sense of like, well, what would be the plan? I'm not just going to fucking quit my job, or I'm not just going to, you know, move to Barbados or whatever without knowing how does that work and setting everything up. But that said, you have a lot of cards here for trusting your feelings and following your passion. There's only one Pentacles card in your whole reading, and it's right at the center. You. Nine of Pentacles. One of my favorite, literally one of my favorite cards to pull. The Nine of Pentacles is the independent, self-sufficient, justifiably proud figure who is like, I bring home the bacon, I fry it up in the pan, and I serve it to the family. You know what I mean? Like, you ought to be proud of how far you have come, Taurus. To have that card in the middle, you've been building your skills, building your knowledge, you've worked yourself up to a point where I also feel like this is what Spirit is saying is like you have some bargaining chips. Some of you may be the move you might be thinking about making could be career-wise, and for some of you, of course, that could mean like a completely different, like I'm leaving this arena entirely. But what I kind of feel like for a lot of you is it's within the same sort of wheelhouse, but it's different. It's an expansion. It's like I've done that. I've covered all of that, so I'm ready to move on to the next thing or to take on this other aspect. For example, if you were like a reporter, you would maybe be moving into like designing the paper because it's like, okay, I've done that, or vice versa. Like, okay, I've done plenty of design. Now I'm ready to write. You know what I'm saying? Where it's same arena, but a different, bringing a new piece in. I feel like someone is making you a really beautiful offer. And like I said, there's only one Pentacles card in this whole thing. So even if this is, for example, a job offer for some of you, which it could be, general readings, this is something that makes you feel incredibly good. Like so happy and so like life is full of possibility. Some of you may be having even like an anniversary or a really important date coming up this month, emotionally speaking. Look at what sits in your future. We're going to talk about it more, but I just want to go here right off the bat because, oh my God, Taurus, you with your family, happy, happy, happy. And remember, you know, family can be blood, family can be chosen. Ten of Cups is just that feeling of like, how did I get this lucky? Like, I am just so blessed. I'm so grateful. I'm surrounded by people that love me and whom I love. And the 10 is the most, right? We've got the Ace of Cups here in your present, and we've got the 10 of Cups in your future. So, some of you, this may be a straight up offer of love. It may be falling in love. It may be reaffirming your love for those of you that are in long-term or committed relationships. The Knight of Cups is the suitor. And, you know, it's like kind of extra poignant that the suitor, which is crossing your reading, is coming at you, the independent, self-sufficient, justifiably proud person. So, again, some of you may be married or partnered, and this could be a resurgence. But for those of you that are single, because this is also, if you were to just Google the Nine of Pentacles, one of the phrases you'd probably see is single and happy. So for those of you that are single and happy and are single and like, look, I'm just making the best of my life. I'm just going to enjoy what I have and make the most of it, and I'm good. And if something comes along, cool. And if something doesn't come along, cool. Something's coming along for some of you. And they look really interesting. I can't help but notice in your future, as you can see, there's the Queen of Swords preceding the Ten of Cups. And then when we have a King of Wands in the key/conclusion position, I mean, it's always interesting to me to see a king and a queen paired off in a reading. And, you know, wands and swords are fire and air. Just like in astrology, fire and air go really nicely together. They're not the same suit, right? But they have, air feeds fire, and fire sparks from air. So there's kind of a gorgeous opposites attract kind of energy here. I keep getting the sense that you are putting together a new adventure, a new system. I think it's also really interesting that that ninth house, the house of big ideas, like I said, it's also the house of philosophy, therefore the house of religion, the house of big ideas. And then we have your card, the Taurus card, the Hierophant, crowning your reading. Hierophant is a word we don't hear in common language because, you know, it's just not, they call him the Pope of the Tarot. The thing about the Hierophant is that that hierarchy. That is what is implied by this card. And you notice that there are keys at her feet. So there are some places where it's kind of like we have to go through the steps, the hierarchy, the gates, those keys, to get to where we want to be. Some of you may find yourself having to work within an organization, and others of you, it may be the fact that you're like, I don't want to work within this organization. That kind of inspires your internal exploration of maybe I'm going to do something else in the long run. Or maybe you're going to build something for yourself so you have your own hierarchy and you get to be the Hierophant of your own thing. The fact that you're at the Nine of Pentacles in this moment says that that's completely possible for you because you're already very good at what you do. You've already collected a lot of resources and skills, pentacle things, money. And with the Queen of Swords in the future, she is the queen of words, communications, ideas, messaging. She's also a supreme strategist. Some of you may be taking on, I just feel like a little bit more communicative of a role. Got the Page of Wands in the energy that is around or available to you. And the Page of Wands is a card of, hey, look what's going on over here. Maybe you should come over here. It's a summoning, it's a calling, and it's a calling with great excitement. And to see that then followed by The Ten of Wands in the potential position, we'll talk about it, but especially the King of Wands in the concluding position. It's like following your heart or your gut, your inspiration, your wands. Following your wands brings you into contact with something hugely fulfilling. And I feel like a place where you can be in the leadership position. You're the lead. You're the Queen of Swords, you know, beckoning people forward or saying, this is where we need to go. Again, she's like a general. She's a strategic queen. She's not, you know, lily white, soft hands that have never done a day of work in their life. No, she's like on the battlefield saying, you, that way, you, form a phalanx, you, come around from this, you know what I mean? And that puts you in a Ten of Cups position of, I love this. This is exactly where I belong. I feel like I'm in my community. I feel like I've got my, I don't want to say like disciples, but there is, like that's a very strong word, but it's also a word that is very associated with the Hierophant. You notice that she has these disciples kneeling at her feet. And what is a disciple, right? A person of a certain discipline. So that doesn't have to mean they're on, you know, a different like level than you or whatever, except in the realm of knowledge. You have some secret knowledge that you may be passing on, or general readings, you may be the one that is seeking some sacred or specialized knowledge from somebody so that you can take your show on the road. Let's talk about that Ten of Wands for a second. Because if anybody can carry 10 Wands, it's absolutely you, Taurus. But the Ten of Wands is a card of feeling like overburdened and like you are carrying so much and dealing with so much that you can't even see the like end of the road, right? Like it's like, when am I even going to finish this? I can't see 3 steps ahead of me, let alone 30 steps in front of me. And the Queen of Swords is someone who likes to know, like you, Taurus, each and every step and have it clearly written out, laid out, sent out, so everybody is on the same page. The potential position is the most malleable or influenceable position in the spread. So I want to give you the fact that you don't have to do 10 of Wands. You don't have to. Again, you're strong enough to. It's even kind of your inclination to be like, oh, well, nobody else here knows what they're doing, so give me your wand. Hey, you, give me your wand. You don't know what you're fucking doing. And like, let me just take that. And I'll just carry all 10 of these, and I'll wear all the hats, and I'll do all the things. And you can. Again, I wanna give you that credit. You certainly can wear all the hats and carry all the things. But here's the thing, is like when you're carrying all 10 wands and wearing all the hats, it just takes you that much longer to get to your destination. So the 10 of Wands can also, especially when it's showing up as the potential, it can say, hey, take a minute right now to delegate. And maybe do like a brain dump, like set a timer for 10 minutes, dump out all the things that you need to like get done or you're worried about or need to be addressed or whatever onto a page. And then start looking at what can only I do and what can I ask my partner or my friend or my kid or my coworker or whatever the context is. What can I ask them to help me out with so that I can make sure I'm doing the stuff that I really need to do exceptionally well, and that I'm not just piling wands on my back and doing everything. Okay, do the stuff that is in, like, you are specialized and really great at. And I know Taurus, especially 9 of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, Hierophant, I get it. You're really good at all of it. But there are certain things that are your zone of genius and that you can take much further and much faster if you're kind of zeroing in and focusing. And they're now directing me back to that King of Wands in your spread. So for some of you, again, this could be your partner. This could be a boss. This could be a mentor. Somebody, here's what you need to know about the King of Wands. I should say the kings and queens for me have nothing to do with gender or sex and everything to do with personality type. So a queen could be a man and a king could be a woman. We could identify any which way and come up as a king or queen. The kings are conquerors, the queens are creators. The kings kind of protect whatever it is that the queens develop, if that makes sense. The kings, put the fence around things. The King of Wands is someone who is brilliant, very quick, very creative, but not just that. they're not, you know, just fire and music. It's like if they have an idea, if they say, oh, I'm writing a play. It's not like the Knight of Wands where they say, I'm writing a play, and you ask them about the play 10 or 20 years later, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm writing that. I'm still writing that. The King of Wands is like, I'm writing a play. Here's the first draft. Like, I'm doing it. I'm taking it from an ephemeral, you know, untouchable idea, and I'm making it into the tangible. So this is someone who takes their ideas and takes them all the way. This is someone who you can really trust to, if you're sitting with them and brainstorming about something or trying to figure out what your next step is. This is somebody that you feel, it's like, wow, it's rare for a Taurus to meet somebody who feels as competent as they are, and maybe in a different arena or a different way. But I feel like you experienced that this month. Someone who's just very brave, because it takes courage to say, I have an idea and I'm going to take it all the way, no matter what it takes, you know? I feel like working with this person or being with this person, alternatively, is what leads you to the Ten of Cups. Air feeds fire, fire sparks from air. We feel joy when we bring this together. This opportunity, this ace of cups can be multiplied all the way to the 10 if you keep your heart and your mind open for a bit of a new adventure and a new way of looking at things, and perhaps pursuing something that you've been kind of dreaming and scheming about on the inside. I think that it could have some, I think that you could see some early returns for putting in work to getting that. And the more that you develop this idea, the more the path is going to seem clear, and the easier it's going to be to walk towards something that is new, but that is deeply, deeply, deeply fulfilling. Deeply fulfilling. 10 of Cups. That's the card people want to see in their reading. It's happy marriage, happy home, happy family, idyllic conclusion. So whatever you might be hoping for an idyllic conclusion in, Taurus, you can have it. I'm excited for you. Do you know what this is, Taurus? Do you have any idea? Let me know. If you got questions, if you got comments, I really appreciate those of you who interact down in the comment section. It really does a lot for the channel and for the video, and helps push it out so other people can get the message. And that's my whole point of being here, is to try to make this a better, kinder, just more fun world. So I appreciate you, Taurus, and I really hope this helps you have that. And if I don't see you in a video before then, Taurus, then I hope I will see you in your August reading. Bye.